Our first guests today are here to catch us up in the world of politics. That's what we kick off with this morning. We talk about the role of superdelegates, the division within the GOP, and the potential winners of the upcoming New York primary. Welcoming you now to the set is political commentators JC Polanco and Mariah Starr, who join us now. And gentlemen, good to have you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
It's really heating up here in New York. Of course, we know next week will be the big week. As we look forward towards next week, a lot of people, let's start on the Democratic side, feel as though that as well as Hillary Clinton is doing, she does have some things to be worried about. Agree, disagree, Mariah?
She has plenty to be worried about. She has Sanders increasing his insurgency. He's picking up support. He's having a rally today in Washington Square Park. The FBI is continuing an investigation of her, and she is losing superdelegates. Today, Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon came out in support of Bernie Sanders in the New York Times. So she has challenges ahead of her.
JC.
Well, it's always a good thing when Hillary Clinton faces challenges and the Democrat admits to it. But the good thing is, the interesting thing is this. I think that Hillary thought this was going to be a coronation. She really did. And the party designed it so that she would walk into the nomination. And here comes Bernie Sanders, this old, disheveled socialist from Vermont, and has just rattled this lady in ways that I could never have imagined. I was here with you and I said this is going to be a coronation. I never knew it was going to be like this. But nonetheless, regardless of all the back-to-back wins by Senator Sanders, the numbers are not in his favor. They clearly favor Hillary Clinton, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that you guys have an incredible super delegate system in place, and I think that's what we want to.
And we want to talk about that because people have said when it comes to the super delegate system, it's pretty much rigged in favor of the person that you really want to have it in the establishment. So first of all, for the viewer, break down what the super delegate process is, and second of all, what about the contention by the public that this is something that's somewhat rigged?
So first, the superdelegate system, it was created in 1984 by the Democrats to help the Democrats avoid landslide defeats in presidential races. The defeats were in 72 against Nixon and then 84 against Reagan. So it's designed to help protect the Democrats from their own base, who were supporting candidates like McGovern. So Sanders is the typical McGovern-type candidate who they were trying to protect themselves against, and so they're counting superdelegates to do their job. The problem, though, is that these superdelegates, I mean, they're unpledged, so they can switch either side. The demographics have changed, so the superdelegates are not necessary anymore. The process is supposed to be democratic, and so when you have a coalition of African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, women, and young people all outnumbering white people, superdelegates don't matter anymore. You don't need them.
The interesting thing is this. I wish we had the superdelegate system in the Republican Party. We have this thing called the unbound delegate, which is kind of similar, but not to the extent of the Democrats. You know, there's a little Alexander Hamilton behind this entire process, which is, you know, the party cannot trust the base. The people are beasts, as Hamilton would say, and we have to protect ourselves, and that's why we have the Electoral College, and that's why we have superdelegates. But I got to give it to the Democrats. See, the superdelegate system is designed to protect the party from outsiders. And quite frankly, Senator Sanders is an outsider. The man is not a Democrat. So the Democrats were smart enough to insulate their party from outsiders by creating the superdelegate system. Now, the reason why it's so fascinating is that these superdelegates are not elected by the people voting in the primaries. They're just given this title because of their position in government or in the party itself, and they're called, here, you're honorary delegates, really what they are, but because of your status in our party, we're going to hook you up. So that's what the issue is. The issue is that these people have no authority, no elected authority whatsoever to place a vote. But kudos to the Democrats. I wish we had it. We would protect ourselves from guys like Donald Trump, who in my opinion are not Republicans, become Republicans, usurp the party, and have no idea what our principles stand for. And here he is about, you know, he's about to win our nomination unless we stop him in Cleveland.
Well, you said at the beginning of this segment, you talked about Hillary Clinton and the coronation. Now, we did say, and you did say before, that Donald Trump would have been gone in a couple of months. We're still talking about it today, and the possibility is he may be the actual winner at the Republican primary. This is something that you did not foresee happening. Now, we saw him yesterday. I saw him yesterday in upstate New York. You had the opportunity to see him in upstate New York. These crowds do not stop.
No, I mean, but crowds don't win votes. And you know that from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders filled the South Bronx, St. Mary's Park, with 18,000 people. And still, he's way behind in the delegate count. This is all about the delegates. And what's great about the Bronx, and I got to tell you, man, we had Senator Ruben Diaz invited all the candidates, but Ted Cruz came in to Soundview to come speak to us about the issues that impact us. Assemblyman Sepulveda brought in Senator Sanders in St. Mary's Park. We saw 18,000 people show up. Borough President Diaz had Hillary Clinton. I mean, Fordham University young Republicans brought in Governor Kasich. So the Bronx, last week alone, saw all of the presidential candidates come and try to get our votes, come talk about the issues that impact us. I think kudos to all of those elected officials that brought those national figures in to come speak to us.
Well, just to clarify, Sanders is not way behind the delegate count. He's about 200 some behind, same amount as Trump is ahead of the delegate count in the Republican primary. So what you have is Sanders able to capture the momentum, and that's critical, momentum after winning 8 straight primaries. So New York will be the critical test.
But what makes New York so popular is the fact that this is not a winner-take-all situation.
Well, it could be if she breaks 50%, correct?
It could be, but one of the challenges here is that in order to capture the nomination outright on the Democratic Party, Clinton has to win about 65% in remaining contests. She won't. She'll probably capture 55%. And that will leave the convention in Philadelphia as a contested convention. It's almost guaranteed now.
What was interesting about the Republican side is that we are definitely going to have a contested convention. There's no way that I see Donald Trump winning 1,237 delegates before the convention. Now, the good thing is this, and as you know, I was a strong Senator Rubio supporter, but now I'm with Senator Cruz. And what I see in the Senator Cruz campaign is that they came to the Bronx and they're targeting congressional districts where there are not a lot of us. But guess what? Whether you live in Congressman Serrano's district or Congressman Crowley or Congressman Engel's district, we have the same number of delegates as Congressman Collins in upstate New York, who has 350,000 Republicans in his district. So regardless of the number of Republicans in your congressional district, all of us get the same number of delegates, which makes New York very interesting on the Republican side.
How well do you think the Cruz fared here in the borough of the Bronx? I mean, we know that there was a potential walkout of students if he'd have walked into a school.
That's a shame. Can you believe these students? These students actually didn't even give an opportunity for a presidential candidate to come in and speak to them and have the opportunity to ask questions and disagree openly on a question. They just decided that they were going to protest and walk out before any question was asked, and we support this nonsense. This is absurd. We're teaching our kids the wrong message. We should have said, no, give it up. If we're going to have the senator, you're free to ask the questions you want, and if you don't like the answer, you're free to walk out. But this idea that we're just not going to even give you an opportunity to speak,
maybe they don't want.
absurd.
Maybe they don't want to ask any questions because they've already heard enough.
That's not true. You know that's not true. These kids have no idea what they're talking. You had an opportunity to have a presidential candidate come to your school, and you're going to threaten with a walkout, and these adults are going to just cave in? That's ridiculous.
Well, no, these students are very smart. My students are incredibly aware. Ted Cruz is an anti-gay supporter. I mean, his father, his pastor, they are on the extreme Christian right.
Are we going to talk about pastors? Because President Obama had kind of a radical pastor himself. Let's not go there. We're talking about Senator Cruz. Senator Cruz has a message that is not anti-gay. It's not anti-immigrant. It's just a conservative. It's not. It is. It's not. The man has said over and over again, I believe in traditional marriage, and he said we should leave it up to the states. That's his position. This idea that he somehow is encouraging anti-gay discrimination is not fair. And he's talking to an LGBT supporter in me. So I'm telling you, there's no way that's the case. But these students should have given the senator the opportunity to come have a dialogue with them. What is wrong with that? Adults are caving into kids that are listening from their parents about this anti-conservative, anti-Republican nonsense, and they actually threatened to walk out, and the senator didn't go. I mean, their loss. It would have been a great opportunity to disagree openly with something that you don't agree with.
Would you agree if the students did the same thing for Donald Trump?
Of course, come in, have a presidential candidate come in and have the discussion. And if you don't agree with it, you know what? You go back home and you said, I asked the question, and this is what we learned. And I don't approve of what he said, but this idea that you're going to cave in because students want to walk out, you know when I saw this? I saw this with Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice was about to give a commencement speech. Students went up in uproar that they don't want Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice has to pull out. How many times do we see students cave in and just automatically say they want to boycott any conservative or Republican that's going to come give a message because they just don't agree with something they have said in the past?
We do need to protect free speech in this country, and it's one of the things that students have a hard time accepting now. There's a culture of shame in college campuses where they are saying to speakers, you must agree with us or we won't invite you. So that's a problem.
And this is an extension. But this time around, I
I
think.
need to say for both the public record, both of you are adjunct professors at schools.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the great thing about this is that the Bronx, Darren, is an exciting place this time around. Could you believe that every single candidate except Trump, because Trump doesn't have to be here, Trump has golf courses, buildings, who cares about him? But I mean, every other candidate came here to come talk to us and ask what our needs are and tell us what they want to do. I mean, I've never seen this before in the Bronx. This is an exciting time. Now, what can we do as Bronxites? I'm going to challenge Bronxites to go out there and vote on April 19th. Now, I really want to see the numbers go up. You know, I was talking with you last time, 19% turnout is dismal. It's unacceptable.
Yeah,
Now,
equate that with the Yankee Stadium. How do we equate that before? You said that doesn't even fill up Yankee
it
Stadium.
doesn't even fill up Yankee Stadium. We're a county of 1.4 million. Let's make it happen. These people came here. Let's vote. Regardless of who you're going to vote for, I would love to see April 19th us set record numbers, Republicans and Democrats coming out to vote so that we can increase our numbers. Because the reality is, the more voters we have, the more important we become.
Right, final word.
So you see, this is the thing. April 19th is critical, but the issue is the vote is only 85% of the convention. Superdelegates, 15%. So it's going to be a contested convention, and once it comes to Philadelphia, we're going to see a whole lot of new things happen. It's going to be very exciting there.
Well, next week we will have some numbers in, and we'll be able to break some things down. So certainly we'll be looking for both of you to come back and weigh in. JC, Mariah, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Continuing along political lines, we're going to take a look now at what some people had to say as Bernie Sanders made his second visit to the Bronx. Bronx Desk correspondent Veronica Guiti has more from the rally at Bronx Community College.